limousine, and the feel so less down was never enough to make a scene. I'm forever wandering. I'm forever wandering.
तू ही तो है मेरे दिल की सदा, मेरी धड़कन का तू ही पता, मेरे जीने की तू ही वजह, मेरी रातों की तू ही सुबह है। आयशा आयशा कुछ तो बता, आयशा आयशा दूर न जा, आयशा आयशा मैं हूँ तेरा। ओ आयशा आयशा कह दो ना, मेरे ख्वाबों में तू ही सदा, मेरी रातों में कोई दिया, मुझसे ऐसे ना आंखें चुरा, मेरी बेचैनी यूं ना बढ़ा है। आयशा आयशा कुछ तो बता, हे आयशा आयशा दूर न जा, है यही मुझे तुझसे कहना, होना ना कभी जुदा, ना होना ना आशना, मेरी दुआ मेरे खुदा, ना कभी आए फासले दरमियां। मेरी ना है मेरी ये जान, तू ही मेरी सांसों की पनाह, तुमसे मेरा सारा जहां, तेरी बाहें मेरा आशियां हो। आयशा आयशा कुछ तो बता, ओ आयशा आयशा कुछ तो बता, हो आयशा आयशा दूर न जा, हो आयशा आयशा मैं हूँ तेरा। हो आयशा आयशा कह दो, हो
Good morning and good afternoon, and hopefully you're having a fantastic day. Today's November 25th, 2022. I almost said 2021, but it's not 2021. That last song you just heard was, well, it disappeared from my queue, which is absolutely fantastic, but that song was Aisha by Amanat Ali, and if you speak Urdu, then you're going to be quite happy. This is our first episode covering non-Latin America, essentially. We had one episode with someone from Greece, but this is the first episode that we have with someone coming in not from Latin America, essentially. My name's Julian Quintero. As always, I'm joined by Laura Faria. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing fine. I am very happy that the snow is melted, so I'm in a good mood today.
Yeah, she's a hater of all things snow-related. I personally really like it, honestly, and it's World Cup season, so I'm enjoying it. But time to introduce our guest. Coming from the UAE and Pakistani origin, we are joined here by Aisha Jafar. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I'm really excited to have you on this show. Obviously, point here is really to try to build community. I know being a foreigner essentially at times is hard. So before we really get into the nitty gritty of like just talking and, as Canadians say, shooting the shit, I want to ask you, introduce yourself, like your name, where you're coming from, like when you come to Canada,
Right.
Tell us about
your life journey, essentially.
My life journey. I'd save that for my therapist. So I came to Canada in 2019. Yeah, 2019.
Okay.
That feels like a long time ago now.
Yeah.
This is actually my first time being back on the Ryerson campus in like 3 years.
Oh.
So that was a fun trip down memory lane, like remembering where I had all these classes in first year, laughing about how excited I used to be.
Used to be, she says, as the light has left her eyes by now.
It's gone.
That's brutal.
So I grew up in UAE most of my childhood, and then I finished high school in Pakistan because my parents had to move back.
Okay.
And then I took a gap year, and around that time, my dad was living in East Africa in Dar es Salaam. So
Okay.
I spent my gap year there, and then I came here.
That's cool. Honestly, like that's actually really dope. Like for me, I've only like been in the Americas. Like I've been to most countries in South America, and I've had a nice trip throughout the Americas and everything. But like anything elsewhere, still haven't been able to venture. So for me, anyone that's coming from what's it called, like from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from anywhere, for me, I find it really interesting. I think it's really dope. So I'm really happy to have you on today's episode.
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So
Yay!
see, usually with this episode, this is why I'm really excited for it, because I don't know what to talk about. Now it sounds weird, but the thing is, with this podcast, usually, like I'm just like, hey, let's chat like about common things, because usually it's a Latino. I'm Latino as well, so it's like in Colombia I do this. How is it in like other Latin country? And it flows a little easier because it's easier to connect. I don't really know much about how the culture is in the UAE or in Pakistan or anything, right? So I feel like it's good to ask just off the bat here, like how different was life there compared to living here in Canada?
Oh, okay. So, in comparison to Dubai, it's not that different except for the weather.
Oh,
That's like a city, and it's quite similar to downtown Toronto, but not the rest of Canada for sure, or the rest of the greater Toronto area.
So you
Gotcha.
grew up in Dubai?
Yeah, but then if I compare it to Pakistan, it's really different. Like
yeah.
over there, I can't really go out and walk by myself. Like my parents would not let me leave the house.
I can imagine.
So just being able to like walk outside here by myself, that's pretty fun.
Oh, I can imagine. I find it fun as well. I enjoy going on I call it my nighttime walks. I'm just like, and I'll just go out. Now, it's still dangerous, but like, I'll just like,
How long have you been in Canada for?
This is my 4th year here.
4th year.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you plan to stay or do you plan to go back?
I hope I'm able to stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, my mom has an immigration company, so if you need help, I got you, girl.
I will call you.
Laura's always plugging the immigration
I have
company. It's
to.
really.
I have to.
You can tell Laura's like, oh, I have a gun in my head. The
Yes.
immigration company is making me promote them. I
So-
have no choice.
So tell me, in your 4 years here in Canada, you said that one change is the fact that you can walk by yourself everywhere. What did you find was most shocking about like cultural differences with Canadians?
Oh, people here are like weirdly nice. Like they just start talking to you in the elevator.
They're fake nice is what's
Yeah.
up.
And like in my first year, people would just be like, random people, oh, how are you? How's it going? I just didn't know how to answer because I'm not used to people asking me that.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
It's valid.
Yeah. Did you have any shocks when it came to like dating approaches or just like how people do things here?
Whoa, we're getting right into that. Okay.
I mean, I guess I knew what to expect because I grew up watching a lot of like American TV and sitcoms. So I was mentally prepared, and like I obviously wanted to run away from my culture. So I came
fair.
here. But in terms of dating, I haven't had any experiences.
That's fair. That's fair.
I know. I think it's so funny. You're like, oh, I think I know what to expect through like American sitcoms, and I'm like, there's no way you just said. Like, I get it too, because like with friends of mine in Colombia, they're like, oh, I hope my love life is like Rachel and Ross from
Yeah,
Friends.
no, obviously
Ew.
not.
And then I come here and I'm just like, brother, that's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. Like, if that somehow, like, even if, because it's convoluted because it's a show and everything, but even like the dynamic of, oh, she's my friend, and then we like that usually never happens. Usually it's just, hey, you're pretty attractive. Yo, you too, dog. And then somehow
Dog.
something. That's how I talk, dude. That's probably why I don't get anything, you know?
Honestly,
But like, that's just how
I-
it works.
I found that the biggest like difference that I compared it to Brazil was that like labels and stuff is like the biggest thing, because in here it's like if I went on 3 dates with you or if I went on 30 dates with you, we're just dating. Like we're dating, you know, as far as people concerned, we're whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, even if it's like, even if you haven't gotten to the I love you part, for instance, right? In Brazil, you're hookups until you get to the I love you. If you haven't like had a declaration of love, it's like open game. Like you're just a hookups, you're not serious, you know, anything could happen. And like that was something that I had a lot of hard time adapting to Canada with, because it's like Canadians just thought I was a slut, and I was like, I'm Brazilian. I don't understand your expectations, people.
No, for me, it was like coming from Colombia, like the dating experience is different because courting is different, right? Like going on
What do you
dates.
mean courting? Like flirting?
Yeah,
Or like going to the parents.
bro.
Because that's what happens back home.
No, yeah, that's how it is in Colombia. At least with like, I've been in 3 relationships actually, and the first one was in the U.S. It was like kind of whatever. The second one, I kind of already knew the parents because she was a friend of mine's sister. That was a really interesting experience for me, I'll tell you that. But then like my most recent relationship, it lasted almost 2 years. I feel like that's like the main one to focus on. It might be the most interesting story I've ever had in my life. So you don't know me much, but you've laughed at quite a few things that I say. So really, like what I do, I kind of just I tell jokes, like try to keep things conversational. So the day that I met her, I was at a meeting with a bunch of people that I didn't know, and so I'm just like sitting in a circle. I'm like telling jokes, everyone's laughing, and this girl's like staring at me like no laughter, not a smile on her face. Just I'm like, this girl hates me. Oh
That
my
lasted 2
God.
years?
And I dated her for 2 years.
That's
Like,
crazy.
no, because like afterwards, I was like out of the politeness of my heart, I asked everyone for their social media, her included. So I just had it, and then I don't speak to her for like 2 months, like because I just don't. And then around like New Year's, she posts a photo and she has like hair extensions in that are like a different color to her hair, and I don't know what came over me, but I swiped up and I went, "You look horrible."
Oh my god.
That's Julian.
I don't know why. I was like, "Dog, you look
Ruthless.
horrible." And she's like, "I don't know. I think it looks like that color does not suit you, dog. Like you look horrible."
Dog again.
That's how I talk. And then she just like she's just like, haha. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting blocked. This is the end of this. And for some reason, she just kept talking to me. And then we went out a couple
That's
times.
sad.
that's sad.
She kept talking to you.
I was
Wow.
thinking, like, I wrote that. I'm just like, I'm not even interested in talking to this girl like that. But like, why did I say that? Like,
I hope she sought professional help afterwards.
she had a lot more problems other than me because we dated for 2 years and like actually like we're still actually friends today. And
good.
so like she likes keeping me around because. Especially with that, I always keep it like 100 with her. She's like, "What do you think here?" And I'm like, "I think you're over fucking reacting. I think you're being ridiculous." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "No one's gonna tell you it, so I'm gonna tell you. You're being stupid. You're being ridiculous."
Sometimes you
Keep your
just
shit
gotta give
together.
it straight to people.
You need that one person in your life that does that for you. Like apparently I'm that person for her. So she'll be like in Austria and she's like, "Oh, you know, there's like these 3 German dudes and I don't know what to do." And I'm just like, "Fuck them all." Like I don't care if you're this concerned. Just try all 3 out. You know, you get a free trial and then you'll figure it out later, right? Like,
Plus, if they
Keep it a beam.
if they end up having like a problem with anything about her, then she dodged a bullet, and at
Yeah.
least she found out now.
yeah. You mentioned what's it called? That it's different in Pakistan
Oh
and
my
the UAE.
God.
So, you know, I know people are like, "Oh, you know, that's racist." Like, no, like just how like you guys have the American sitcoms to think what it's like
Yeah.
in the West. We see clips of whether it's like Bollywood shows or just like interpretations in the media of like what it's like. And obviously I don't know it. I know Laura doesn't know it. So what is it like? Like as you mentioned, you're obviously not really involved in the dating scene. But like based off of like, let's say your friends or family or anything like that, what is the dating scene like in Pakistan and the UAE?
Like,
Okay.
do the parents set it up, or
Okay, so basically there's the arranged marriage and then there's the love marriage.
Ooh.
So we have,
love marriage?
yeah. So after you reach a certain age, your mom just starts giving you shit, like, you know? Like, oh, when I was your age, I was married and had 2 kids.
The pain of woman.
What?
But,
Yeah.
you know,
That's weird, bro.
but yeah, they say that to me all the time. And it's so funny because they don't let you talk to boys all your life.
Yeah.
Right?
And then
And
they
then
complain
sudden-
that you're not married.
Yeah, and then suddenly they're like, oh, here's a stranger, or maybe your cousin. and then they're like, and then my mom's like, okay, Aisha, I'm bored and I want something to take care of, so give me 5 babies. I'm just like, I'm not
What?
doing that.
Girl.
That's,
That's
weird.
so funny.
That is horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a roommate back in college, and she was from Pakistan. That was definitely one of my most memorable roommates. She had a lot going on, but the biggest thing that I remember was that I think she felt like she was running against time to get married.
Yeah.
She was 24. She was gonna turn 25.
Oh no, she's so old.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. She was 24. She was
What
going
is she
to
ever
turn.
gonna do?
And like for reference for anyone listening, I'm 25, right? So like right now, I could never even like consider the idea of having babies and stuff
Right.
like that. And she was 24, and she was like, well, I need to date chronically until I find a guy that I'm gonna marry, because if I don't find a guy that I'm gonna marry before I'm 25, my parents will find the guy that I'm
Yeah.
gonna marry. And so during the whole time that we lived together, every single week there was a new guy that was
Wow.
like coming over, and it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I do not know what happened to her, if she married a Canadian or a Pakistani dude, but very memorable roommate for sure.
Yeah, it is pretty much like that. Like, after a certain point, your parents like, okay, you haven't done anything about it, so now we're gonna take care of it.
It's like, what is the rush for
I know,
procreation? Like, we have
right?
so many people in the world.
Exactly.
Crazy.
8 billionth person born just a couple weeks ago
Wow.
in the world, and I'm like, damn.
So when it comes to the love marriage situation, what is the process like? Do you bring a person home to your parents, or do they have to even like ask you out to begin with to them? And
So usually what I've seen in my family, some of my cousins were lucky enough to find people. And they usually like met during school or uni and whatever. They were usually friends. And then, you know, they realized, okay, we like each other. Sometimes they date, sometimes they tell the parents right away and they like get engaged.
Yeah.
And then they get married in a few years. So they kind of do it so like people don't say shit because
I see.
they see parents are always like, oh, what are people gonna say if they see my kid out with some random dude?
Yeah.
You know,
So-
what is the culture gonna think?
So would you say that like in your culture, like relationships always end up feeling like a reflection of the family?
Yeah.
So if you're in a relationship with the wrong person, the
you're-
whole family is not gonna give you a break.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and divorce is not very much encouraged back home,
Fair.
but I encourage it.
You just in any scenario, you
Yeah.
encourage divorce.
I mean, if you're not happy,
No.
you know,
You see, like for me in that case, I get it, but then I'm just like, because I know people that are like, oh, I started dating this person because I had to, and I'm just like, bro, just like, don't get married.
yeah,
Like,
but sometimes
Sometimes you have
can't
to.
say no to your parents. Sometimes they pull out that guilt card like, I gave you everything you ever wanted. You can't make me happy with this one thing.
The
But
one
they don't
thing
realize
popping a
the
human
one thing is for
being?
the rest of your life.
Crazy.
It's like Pokemon. Your parents are like, Mom, use Guilt Trip, and it's just like absolutely horrifying experience in that aspect. Nah, you know, like
That's so funny.
being a dude is weird though, because like my parents are like, oh, so. Actually, no. In my family, it's really different, but it's because I've seen in a bunch of other families, they're like, oh, you know, like, son, you're 25. When are you going to find a beautiful 20-something-year-old woman? Like, something like that in Latin culture, because they also put that pressure on. It's not as serious or strict, but they still put that pressure on. I have not experienced that. And I think it's entirely because I am the youngest out of all my cousins on my mom's side of the family. And, like, finally the oldest one is getting married and he's 40. So like
Wow.
so like I'm like, you can't tell me
Yeah.
anything. None of my cousins are married.
But-
like
But that's the thing, like in Brazil, it's very common for people to be like living with their parents
oh yeah.
up until
you get married.
Up until you get married.
Latin-
And
Colombia's like
most
that as
of
well.
my friends are like already in their 30s, 32, 33. And like they're not like some of them may have just taken the leap of moving in with a partner that they've been together with for like years and years, just because like it's so expensive to like get like a place for yourself in Brazil that you have to be like absolutely sure that you're gonna like move out, and you know. And it's just different because here I noticed that like sometimes Canadians will date for a few months and then be like, rent would be cheaper, let's move in. And like that's crazy. Brazilians will
it's
wait
true.
3 years before they move in.
No,
with
but
the
like, see,
person.
it makes sense here because people here aren't living with their parents; they're living downtown. So in terms of rent, I get it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
but then you're stuck in a 1-year lease with someone.
Exactly.
your relationship's a 1-year lease. Like this has to last at least the year.
Yeah. And then you have to
Exactly.
renew it for exactly another whole year. So-
Yeah.
It's horrible. Anyway, on that note, we're gonna go on to our next song. Just kind of give it a little bit of a music break here.
Yay.
While we figure out what to talk about and stop grilling Aisha on her apparently non-existent love life. So without further ado, this next song is, I'm going to butcher this really badly, Manshiyat by Peach Fuzz and Hassan Rahim. Did I get that? Did I do that?
yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so without further ado, enjoy it, and you guys at home, we'll be right back with you.
बस आ जाते हैं सामने क्यों मेरे बचते बचाते हम बछड़े हंसते हंसाते हम सवेरे मंशियात की बाजार में लिपटते गए मर्जी आपकी कलाकार में तो करते गए शरारते हैं बस कभी कभार में बार में मंशियात की बाजार में पढ़ रात दिन बस अब तो घर सुटे मुठे मार के मैं तेरे डर लगता है कुछ नया ना होगा फिर बाजार में कभी कभार में बार बार में बार बार में बार बार में लगता है कुछ नया ना होगा फिर मंशियात की मंशियात की बाजार में लिपटते गए मर्जी आपकी कलाकार में तो करते गए तो होगा मतलब मर्जी आपकी या मेरी चीटे बिकते जैसे डेरी करते सारे चेरी कैरी पीते चर्चे सोलेटरी लोंडो की आंखें लाल करना चाहते ये धमाल चाहे हो ये मिशनरी चेरी चाहिए लेजेंडरी मैं तो आऊंगा मैं यूं ही आऊंगा सबको पिलाऊंगा नशे कराऊंगा सबको पिलाऊंगा और फिर नचाऊंगा मैं सबको इन मंशियात पे लगता है कुछ नया ना होगा फिर मंशियात की बाजार में लिपटते गए मर्जी आपकी कलाकार में तो करते गए कलाकार में शरारते हैं बस कभी कभार में बार बार में कभी कभार में मंशियात की बाजार में
Hello, welcome back, everybody. This is Foreigner FM, your one-stop shop for talking absolute nonsense with people that aren't Canadian.
Nonsense across borders.
Oh yeah. It's so, as always, as mentioned before, if you're joining us somehow now, we're joined by Aisha Jafar. She is quite nice. It's been very nice having you here. It's been some really fun conversations. In the previous section, we talked about relationships, which is really funny to me because in the previous podcasts that we've had, they've all been like, so, what are the weird commercials from where you're from? Hey, like what's
Oh, there's
this?
a few. Oh my
You
God.
know,
Some
like-
are coming to mind.
So it's like things like that. So like I'll gladly talk about it now, but like it's really funny because in all the other ones, it's always been like, oh, what do you like about Canada? The snow. What don't you like about Canada?
The
Oh,
snow.
people are weird. And it's like really interesting, like in terms of conversations, a lot more chill. And this one's been like a lot more serious. So I want to try to bring it back just a little bit because, quite frankly, I feel bad grilling someone that I met today about their love life. So mentioning the
Sorry.
commercials, I'm actually really curious. What are some like interesting commercials that are like really different to what we see here in Canada?
I just realized growing up there was this commercial for mango juice and they like really sexualized it.
Hold on. How did they sexualize? Did they sexualize the fruit, the drinking of the juice?
The drinking of the juice and it dripping and all.
So they were like,
Yeah. And like,
so
why
funny.
is the girl so pretty? Like, it's about the juice, not the girl, you know?
You need the girl to
you
sell
need
the
the
juice.
hot girls to sell stuff.
You're gonna put me
Ask
drinking
any
juice? That's
beer
not gonna
commercial
sell.
ever. Have you seen beer commercials? It's always hot women with big boobs every time.
Bro, you think beer or anything would sell if it's me and the beer's like dripping down my beard? Like that's not selling.
Like, yeah.
That is not gonna sell.
Yeah, fair.
Like objectively speaking, they're gonna be like, "Yo, what the hell is this dude doing? He just put a video of him last Friday night
Sexy
and
mango.
thought it would be a commercial." You know, like, no, it's
It would be funny if your sexy mango commercial was like not about juice, it was the actual fruit, and it was just somebody trying to suck on the mango. You know, it would be so funny for them to try to sexualize that.
yeah, no, it's ridiculous, dog. Like, but
Sexy mango.
commercials are really interesting with how they approach it because they're like, you'll see the most absurd commercial, and it's like two people like on the verge of like having sex, but it's like unspoken and it's super like erotic, you know? And then in the last 5 seconds of the ad, the girl whips out a Pepsi, and it's a Pepsi commercial, and you're just like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
There was a Spanx commercial that I watched a few years ago. Do you know what Spanx are?
Yeah.
I have no idea what
Okay,
they are.
so Spanx are
think
these
it's
like
'cause I'm a man,
shapewear that women wear. So it's like it's almost like a corset that you put under your clothes just to like look better, I guess. And
kinda weird,
Things women do.
yeah, and it's really tight, and it holds your breath like the whole time. But you look good in pictures, I guess.
Yeah.
And in the commercial, this couple was like making out, and they really, I guess, wanted to take things to the next level. But the girl had a Spanx on, and then she had to figure out how to like
Get out of
get it out. But the problem was that like. Wait, I don't think this was a commercial. I think it was my friend Bria's sketch, actually. Never mind. The sketch was that she kept taking off the Spanx, and it was just like layer after layer of Spanx. And the guy was like, when will it end? Yeah, it wasn't a commercial. I mixed it up. Never mind.
No, that is phenomenal.
It would be a great commercial, though.
It would.
Hilarious. Spanx should hire Bria.
No, I would disagree, because then it would just be like, for me, I'm looking at this, and like the message I'm getting is, don't buy Spanx. It makes sex harder. You know, like, that's what I'm taking in from that.
Fair enough.
But yeah. See, this is the awkward silence where I'm like, oh, I don't know what to say.
Okay, music break.
No music break here.
I can't think of the word I wanted to say.
No, but like, all in all, I think it's really interesting because the cultural differences are just really different, you know? Like, I have a cousin of mine, he's Colombian, and he, quote unquote, I'm putting quote unquote because like they kind of got married, they got married because of the law in the UAE. They live in Abu Dhabi. And so it's
My
like,
brother just moved there.
yeah?
Yeah.
So like I thought about studying in Abu Dhabi. Like there was a time where I wanted to apply to NYU Abu Dhabi, and I was like I was kind of dead set on it. And then I was like, you know what? Like that's a big move. It's gonna be a really big cultural reset. Like maybe not. You know, because I didn't really know what I was gonna get myself into. Because you imagine I show up and it's just this Latin guy, and they're just like, what the hell, man? Like you can't do that. And I'm like, I'm just chilling. What's happening? Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I've told you, but someone actually thought that I was Arab, like here.
I can see that, yeah.
It was so funny because I'm just walking on the street, and you know the guy on the corner of Yonge and Dundas that's like the Quran guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. He just
For those of you listening who don't know that, when we walk downtown in Toronto at Yonge and Dundas, there's this one guy who's always handing out
there's a
pamphlets.
bunch of interesting guys. in downtown
Always
Toronto.
handing out pamphlets of the Quran every
Yeah.
time.
There's the Quran guy. There's the guy right next to him who's yelling that if you're not Christian, you're going to hell.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
That one's hard to forget.
Yeah, that
I
one's
need
hard to
I need to
forget.
interrupt you before I forget this. That guy that you're talking about, the Christian preacher, I was once walking downtown with my friend Adam, and we overheard him going into like the craziest therapy tangent that it was like, you need to talk to someone, bro. Like he was just like talking about, I guess it was supposed to be one of those motivational speeches about how you turn to God in a situation, and it was like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and what do, you know? But the more you started to listen to it, I was like, you are projecting some serious things, bro. He was like, okay, because, you know, sometimes things happen, and when I was a kid, I was in this playground, and then a kid slapped me, but then I slapped him back, but then the teacher told me not to slap him, but then I slapped the teacher, and then the teacher told me to go to the principal, and then I slapped the principal, and it's like he was just going off on a tangent, and I was just hearing, and all of this was supposed to somehow tie back to like God or some. I didn't
Loving
stick
Jesus.
around, but I was like, this is crazy, just slapping people on a spree, and somehow that mean, I don't know.
No, knowing the Christian church kind of checks out. But yeah, like downtown we have like the Quran guy, we have the Christian guy, literally right next to him, which I think is just so funny. And then across the street, there's the Believe guy. You guys know the Believe guy, right? He's the old man. He's standing on the corner, and then he just goes like, "Believe!" like right in your ear.
Yeah,
and like it just jump scares the crap out of you.
He's kind of like that guy from that meme where it was like the research shows people are afraid of technology, and it's just some guy jumping out of the bushes, technology, and people are like.
Essentially, that's what he does. But yeah, back to my point. I walked by the Quran guy, and like this was around Ramadan, right? And at the time, I had my beard not this long, but it was still relatively long, and I had like long curly hair, like to here, you know. So like, I guess I resembled an Arab man, and the reason why I say that is I'm walking by, and the guy goes, "Inshallah, brother," and I turn around, I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then he like looks at me like, "How are you doing today?" And I'm like, "I'm good, dog." "How are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm doing good. What are your plans tonight for Ramadan?" And I'm like, and like for a second, my brain turned off in terms of like knowing what you do in certain religions and everything. And I had like food at home, and I'm like, I'm gonna eat pork because like I had pork at home.
Oh, honey.
And the guy looked at me, and then he doesn't get mad at me.
Yeah.
He just felt embarrassed because he looks at me and he's like, "You're not Muslim," and I'm like, "I am not." He's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I'm just like, "I'm too." Apparently, that was really insensitive, dude. I'm really sorry. The guy's just like, "Oh, it's alright, dude. No worries." And then that's it. Now I walk by him at Young and Dundas and we like make eye contact every once in a while, and it's like kind of weird because he's like, "I accidentally thought you were Arab," and I'm like, "And I accidentally disrespected your culture." like I feel bad.
So, you said you've been here for 4 years, right? So you came here straight to going to university?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have like the high school experience in Canada?
No, I have a question. How's the high school experience in Pakistan? Because you said you graduated in Pakistan. How's that like?
So usually schools there are actually like built on a campus, but my school was really tiny, so they just renovated like a big house.
Fair.
It's kind of a vibe. Low-key.
And it was so tiny, there was only like 15 kids in my class.
Jeez.
So everyone kind of just knew everyone and everyone's business.
I mean, it was like that in my high school, and my grade was 100 people.
That's what middle school was like in Dubai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like the whole grade. Like I know people here, like in Canada and everything, and their schools like, "Oh yeah, my elementary school, we have like 500 kids in like grade 3," and I'm like, "What the hell? There's so many people."
That is sad.
It's ridiculous. They're like jamming like 40 kids into a classroom, and I'm like, no wonder no one's learning anything. Like there's so many of y'all in one room.
I think more women need to wear Spanx to prevent more children.
That's fantastic, honestly. Low key though.
A collab between
For real.
Spanx and Trojan.
Yeah.
Contraception. I love
She
that.
finally gets it off, and the guy's like, "Don't forget," and like whips out the Trojan, you know.
Oh my god, a collab between Spanx and Trojan.
That'd be
for
so
a
funny.
Hilarious.
That would actually be really
It would
great.
be a fun commercial. They should hire.
That sounds like a media production project, like low key. It sounds like someone's just like, "Hey, let's make a commercial. What are we gonna make it about?" I have an idea.
I'm gonna text my friend Bria and be like, "Hey, you should pitch this to Trojan as well."
That would be sick.
Go for it.
It'd be fantastic. But like you mentioned, like obviously 15 people like in your year, like that's crazy. Like everyone just knows each other's business, or
Yeah.
like how deeply? Like it's like Aisha had tacos for lunch yesterday, and it's like in your face about it, you know.
I mean, I'd have lunch in front of them 5 days of the week. So it was more so like if there was drama with like 2 people in the class, it would spread to the entire class, and like it would just divide. Because there was the alpha male and the alpha female.
Oh god, of course.
But
The
I was
alpha male.
very unaware of these social situations in my class, so I would just be like in the corner, not talking to anyone.
So did you ever find yourself as the victim of gossip or as the perpetrator of gossip?
I had a stalker for 2 years.
What?
Who was my classmate.
Stop.
You see, going back to the point, you call him a stalker, your parents call him a potential love interest in your husband, you know? Like, that's horrifying.
So 2 years he stalked you in high school?
Yeah, just nonstop like harassment.
That's crazy.
Like, stalked you in what way? Like, just followed you everywhere, or like...
He started sitting where I would sit.
Okay.
He became friends with my friends. He actually tried to switch to my classes, but the teachers didn't let him.
Okay.
He even applied to universities in Canada.
Imagine being that obsessed. I mean, good for you.
It was
means,
flattering,
it
but
means your
it was-
pheromones are just out there making him crazy, you know? Yeah.
We're getting really specific with
The
the,
chemistry.
vocabulary out
It's just
here.
not mutual. That's the problem.
No, that sounds wild, dude.
Yeah, that does sound wild. Did people ever like have things to say about the stalking?
I mean, the entire class knew what was happening. Some teachers knew.
I feel like the rest of the class, like, damn, that's crazy. I wonder how Aisha will respond.
Because this guy sending my friends drafts of hate emails he's going to send to me in an hour.
Hate email?
Yeah, and then my friends are like, just don't open your email for a few days or don't read it.
Imagine being
What?
that.
Because I blocked him
insane.
everywhere, so he started emailing me through like the school email.
So he got angry that you blocked him, and he just started to bash you over
Yeah.
email.
What? It's so weird.
What a loser. What a straight up loser.
No, but I'm sitting here, I'm like, damn, dude, you couldn't spread your hatred in a more fun way. Like, Aisha has to tell people this guy would send me hate emails. Like, that sounds so boring. Like,
You know what?
Can you be so, you know how it'd be really funny if Aisha is like, yo, one time I got 3 letters via courier pigeon and it was just like pure hatred from this guy. I think that would be really fun to imagine. You know, you have a bird like descending from above you. It drops like 3 letters Harry Potter style in your hand. And it's just like, dear Aisha, the pain you have caused me is immeasurable, and I hope every day you burn with the solace of understanding the pain that you must have caused me. And it's just like, dude, I just don't want you following me around. Like, it's not that hard.
I barely know you,
Yeah.
but I will tell you that I am proud of you for not letting this guy get to you.
Thank you.
That's very, very good that you stood your ground and that you weren't intimidated by him, you know, being pushy. Because I know a lot of girls, the reaction is to just like give in because like he's insisting so much, and it's either a matter of feeling safer or feeling peace, you know? And I'm very proud of you for standing your ground.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say so as well, even though I'm the problem, you know? I guess, I don't know. I get that a lot. Someone's like, you're the problem. And I'm like, I've not left my house in 3 weeks.
Why are you the problem? Just
Because
because
I'm a man.
you're a man?
You know? It's like, you're the problem. You probably
You
listen
would
to
be the
Andrew
problem
Tate.
if you
And I'm
were
just like,
one of those so-called alpha males.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Because everyone's like, you're alpha male. And I'm like, bro, I'm just goofy.
I'm
you
gonna
know?
be honest with you. Every single guy I've ever met who called himself an alpha male was nothing but a beta.
I don't even use those vocabulary because it sounds so stupid. Like, you're a
Just
beta
true.
male. I'm an alpha male. Cool, bro. I'm just going to go watch, like, Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Or I'm just going to go chill.
It's literally the manager logic, you know? If you have to keep screaming at people, I am the manager!
You're not.
You're not in control.
Yeah.
No, it was really funny though, because someone's like, "Oh, Julian, like my dating life in Canada has been like non-existent," and I'm just like, you know what? That's fair. But it's like I become friends with a bunch of people, and it's so funny because someone's like, "Oh, you must be pulling like crazy." I'm like, "I'm not." Like, why? And I'm like, because I don't care.
But
Mark.
is it because you like are not looking to date, or is it because you don't put yourself in scenarios where you could meet
See,
potentials?
I feel like it's.
Both.
I feel like when I'm in scenarios where the person's interested in me, I just don't notice it, and then I just lose that opportunity. And then the people that I am interested in are just not interested in me, you know. So it's just kind of been like that. It's just not been timing. But regardless, like I'll hang out with people, and they're like, "Julian, how do you like?" Someone asked like, "How did you get this girl to hang out with you?" Like, I'm just like, I went, "Yo, dog, you like anime?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I'm watching Chainsaw Man. You want to watch Chainsaw Man with me?" And then the girl like, "Yo, for real?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then we'll hang out. And someone's like, "Oh, did you try something?" I'm like, "Nah, bro, I was too busy watching Chainsaw Man."
That's
Like
fair.
I'm not trying to slide on anyone.
Yeah.
I need to watch Chainsaw Man with someone so they can see how insane I am.
I
You know, like I'm like losing my mind with how this show is going. I need someone to know.
I would love to help you create a Tinder profile.
Oh my god.
I would love, love
No,
love
I
to
got
do that.
off Tinder. I got off Tinder, bro.
Because you probably weren't doing it right.
No, because it's scary. It's horrifying.
It's so funny. There's something called Minder, which is Muslim Tinder, and my cousin's mom was just like swiping through girls for him, and I was just like watching that happen.
His mom was swiping through girls?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Imagine having to tell your mom like what you like in girls. So it's like, Mom, I really like the girls when they have like really nice eyebrows, and your mom's like going through it.
That's crazy.
That's so
crazy.
funny. I think that, bro,
I'm like,
if I ever let my mom touch a dating app with me on it, I think I'd never let myself live again.
I can't really like talk about this stuff with my mom either. It's like talking to a wall if I like bring up this stuff. If I was like, "Hey mom, I'm gonna go on a date with someone," she's just literally gonna keep texting and just like have no idea that I said that. And it's like, I think I dated my ex for like 6 months before I introduced him to my mom. And normally when my friends, my Canadian friends are telling me, oh, I'm introducing, this person to my parents, it's a big deal. It's, we're going to have dinner. I'm going to wear something nice. This person's going to bring my parents. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No, when I introduced my boyfriend to my mom 6 months in, I brought him to Niagara, and she made it such a little deal out of it that she didn't even have dinner with us. She opened the house for us. She was like, okay, dinner's in the fridge. Have yourselves some dinner, and I'm going to sleep now. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to sleep? She literally made us come to Niagara to sleep over and eat the food from her fridge. And that was her introduction.
Your mom is just sitting there like, I just don't have sex too loud, okay? I'm trying
like she literally couldn't care less. It's crazy.
She's just like, I have stuff to do in the morning, like.
I was like, why did I come here? Why couldn't we just do like a Zoom meet? Like,
probably would have talked more.
Yeah, literally.
Low key. I think that's the problem. She just didn't want to talk.
Yeah, she didn't. She didn't. She was like, it's enough. You're around her.
Yeah, you're fine. Anyway, I hate to be a buzzkill because this is really fun. But it is almost 1 o'clock.
Boo!
And we need to put a song to close, obviously, and everything. But thank you very much, Aisha, for coming on. Our plan is obviously to do this for quite a bit, so might message you again, have you on here, hopefully get to know you more, and then from there just be able to actually talk different topics than what's it like dating in the Middle East. Like that's.
And you should come back on the show next semester.
I would love that.
Awesome.
That would be so fun.
We'll definitely stay in touch, and I'm definitely really excited for it because I really like this. So
awesome.
I sound so awkward right now. But on a serious note, like I really do enjoy Foreigner FM. You get to meet people from different parts of the world. Next week's our final episode of, the show for this semester. So for anyone listening, and specifically if we have one of the Spirit Live people listening, yes, I'm actually talking to you. I'm breaking the fourth wall for you. Wow. If you or anyone you know is an immigrant, came to the country, and wants to talk about their experiences or just kind of like have some fun with it, reach out to us. I am Julian Quintero Verano on Instagram, and Laura is Laura Faritos on Instagram as well. Feel free to reach out. We'll try to have a social media up for this sooner.
Yeah,
rather
hopefully
than
next
later.
semester we could have an inbox where you could like submit anything you wanted to talk about, and we could just read it here.
I think that would be really fun. But without further ado, everyone, thank you very much for listening to Foreigner FM. I've been Julian Quintero, as always, joined by Laura Faria. Thank you so much, Aisha Jafar, for joining us today.